What's up guys, another video as part of the world's longest swim series. This, we don't really know the title. It's kind of like how I train my chest, pecs, testicles. But it's really interesting because as I've said before, when it comes to my strength and conditioning, it's kind of a full body workout. I don't really think in terms of physiology, like, you know, sort of like a bodybuilding centric workout where you go, I'm gonna train arms, gonna train chest. And then equally, it's not even biomechanical where it's push or pull. It's really full body, looking at movements that are gonna aid me to increase my efficiency, posture and propulsive forces in the water. But there will be a slight emphasis on chest. If that makes sense. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start off like I usually do with some speed pull-ups, rate of force development, really quick pull-ups in theory. I say quick. I've done a 15K swim today. Semi-speedy but steady pull-ups. And this is interesting as well. Actually, I saw a brilliant post the other day and I forget who it was. It might have been Brett Hawke. I don't know, but they were talking about if you're a swimmer, do you do your strength conditioning first or your swimming conditioning first? Again, Verkhoshansky, greatest strength and conditioning coach, arguably to ever exist, talks about this idea of like you've only got a certain amount of adaptation energy in a single day, week, session. And so how you spend that adaptation energy, are you trying to get faster? Are you trying to get stronger? It's completely up to you, but it's individual to each person. And for me, at the moment, I think we did some tests at Loughborough University and I was in the top like 1% of strength for swimmers, so I don't have to get any stronger. So I spend my adaptation energy in the morning on swimming because I just need to get better at that. Strength isn't really an issue for me. I mean that in the least big-headed way possible. Did that come across big-headed, dude?
No, it came across fine.
I don't think it did. I need to bolt that down. Oh, they were steady. They were steady. They are not as punchy as they usually are after a 15K swim. So it's like, how are you spending your adaptation energy? For anyone watching, like what's important to you? People always say that, shall I run, shall I do weights? It's completely specific to you. What do you want to get better at? What are you trying to improve? I think that's so important. Like everyone will have a goal. You've got to reverse engineer and deconstruct that goal, but be so specific. And then sometimes as well, even individual biological individuality when, you know, someone's just probably really, really strong. So it's like, you don't have to work on strength anymore. If you want to be a good runner, probably dial down the strength training, run a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's really important, but knowing that you're not gonna set the world alight in the weights room after a 15K swim. Okay, I'm gonna try neural priming, switch on the central nervous system. We've had 2 spiced coffees today. Maybe I need 3. Better. This really signals the start of the training camp for the world's longest swim. So the volume is just gonna get silly, and I think my shoulders right now are like, oh God, I remember this. It just flashbacks. Then we've got a lake swim later, which is gonna be interesting. Trying a new wetsuit. That's gonna be interesting. They've got new swans down Manlingham as well. Now the old swans, interestingly, I had an agreement with them, like an unspoken agreement where they let me just swim. And we were kind of cool. They knew I'd give them a wide berth. But I don't know about these new swans. We don't have an agreement yet. What do swans eat? Can I take them like a peace offering?
You could try some PhD bars. Just see.
Just wading into the water.
Yeah. Breaking news, Ross Edgley kills all the swans at Manchester.
No, I'm like a creepy old man, like in my trunks and wetsuit, trying to... I don't know if that's a good idea.
No, maybe not. Okay.
That felt a bit quicker. I can see from your expression it wasn't, but that's fine. That was quicker.
Yeah, I think that was quicker.
Okay, we are gonna do like I said, I always start with pull-ups. They're just like, there's such a strong correlation between pull-ups and swim speed and swim efficiency. So that's why I always start on them. Whereas now, we are moving over to dumbbell pullovers, which are kind of associated with that golden era of bodybuilding, just because you can generate a lot of mechanical tension, a lot of metabolic stress. It's just stretching the chest out. So it's great for aesthetics, but then equally, it's so easy to see how just that thoracic extension and then also just that mobility overhead is just so good, because it's just replicating in some ways the propulsive forces during swimming. So it's kind of 1980s bodybuilding meets, you know, with the string vest where you can see the nipples.
Yeah.
Like that, but and sunglasses on, on Venice Beach. But instead I'm in my garage.
It's a lot less glamorous.
I just get warm, and then I start to add some bands. It's just like Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Do you promise, James?
Yeah, exactly the same.
Do I look like Arnie in his prime?
Absolutely.
Okay, can you just put some CGI over it? Yeah. And add some like massive pecs.
I can try my best.
Okay, that'd be really good if you could. Please. For those people, I really enjoy these sessions. Like, this is, because otherwise I'm just a lonely man sitting in my sauna in my pants. Whereas now, I've got some friends. So I genuinely like this.
Now we can film you in the sauna.
That is going to be a weird vlog.
Yeah.
That is going to be the weirdest vlog. I'll be surprised if you come back after that. Call this one the Juggernaut. I don't know if it looks that, it feels girthier. I don't know if it looks girthier. Does it?
I don't really want to answer.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not bigger, it's girthier. This could go wrong. Gonna be completely honest. So because this only goes up to 45 kilos, which isn't enough. And then also as well, if you think about swimming, you kind of want that propulsive force. You're pulling their high elbow, so it's not you're never swimming like that, if that makes sense. So you're kind of limited a little bit by gravity. So Elle doesn't know that she was going to be signing up for this, but what I might do is hook this round, and then Elle's going to stand there, and she's going to pull it, and it could go really badly wrong. Elle, I'm trusting you. So you pull a little bit more, a little bit more. Oh, you can't really go more. Get aggressive with it. Just, yeah, there you go. A little bit more. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. We've invented band resisted dumbbell pullovers. Okay, we are on dumbbell presses, chest press. I think what's interesting, I love the dumbbell version, and I don't know if it's because I'm really old now, but when I was younger, I used to just bench like everybody, you know, when you just like, oh, I was just such a bro, I just loved, just bench was life. And I think since shoulder surgery, and then also as well, like now I do not have to have a big bench press to swim. It helps with sprinting, there's a correlation, and that's why I do it, but probably once a week. But I find that dumbbells are just a little bit easier on the AC joint, on the shoulder joint, than a barbell. Because there you're just like jamming in, whereas with dumbbells, it feels more natural, the sort of motion is just a little bit kinder, I think. So, like I said, not trying to be a powerlifter anymore, but there are some studies that with sprint swimming, bench and pull-ups help, And then during this training block, I'm going from a strength, speed and power training block into endurance. So I'll still be doing this once a week. As we start to get into some crazy mileage for the world's longest swim, we'll definitely be chopping weights and hopefully just keep all of the benefits from strength training, like physically robust, still have that kind of propulsive forces, general force efficiency, but kind of chop it a little bit more because I'll be so exhausted from doing like 20, 30K a day. We are hitting just some smaller isolation stuff now. After the big compound moves, it just kind of makes sense to then start to drill some small isolation stuff, some postural stuff. Again, I love this. After tricep extensions, this idea, and again, I forget the swim coach who said this, so I feel really bad. It's not my term, but this idea of just getting like strong and long. So if you imagine tricep extensions, it's almost like Pilates, just kind of holding here, scapular engagement. And again, imagine when swimming, just getting really strong in that end range. Start to finish with these. When you start to get a little bit more fatigued, you kind of, and I say this actually, there's also like a science and an art to every workout. So not just this particular workout, but everything needs to make sense. Whereas if you started with your small isolation stuff, and then you moved over to your compound stuff, the compound stuff would have lost its kind of like snap, and you just wouldn't necessarily, like now to go and do some speed reps on pull-ups, I'd be fatigued, it wouldn't quite work. So everything has to always have a purpose, and that's why, actually, on that note, with the Supra app, I'm so proud of all the workouts that we have on there, because everyone who's following them, we've got a community on there, and everyone talks about like the theory, the philosophy, and they ask why, and it's just brilliant that everything needs to make sense. There needs to be synergy between everything that you put together. So now, like I said, moving over small isolation work, postural work, and then we're going to finish on the swimmer. Now drilling lots of tiny forgotten muscles. Talk about this a lot with just like scapular control, but this is one thing I've been drilling so much, because when you start to get fatigued, when you're 100 kilometers into a swim, it's these tiny little forgotten muscles that will start to break down, and that'll just affect everything from technique, your proportion, everything. So once you start on your big, large compound muscle movements, generating force, you cannot neglect the small ones as well, because they're the ones that'll come bite you in the bum. You're only as strong as your tiniest muscle. No, but that is true. That is a really good point. Only as strong as your weakest link. That is so true. Again, this is just this idea of getting strong in that end range, thoracic rotation. This was Jono Freeman. I think I spoke about him a lot. He's an absolute legend. So he was head physio. I always get this wrong. I don't know if he was head physio, but what happened is the Chinese Olympic swimming, he's Australian, but the Chinese Olympic swimming team were like, he's such a genius. They just went, and just went, right, teachers. And then in my head, they just gave them a treasure chest of money and just went, there you go. That might not have happened, Jono, if you're watching this, I apologise, but Jono taught me this. And this was after my shoulder rehab, but he was amazing. So, that's a weird story. Jono! Then, I always like doing this. It's almost like, I talk about neural priming a lot as well. Just getting the central nervous system firing, and at the same time just get the joints, muscles and everything working cohesively together. So before I go and jump on the swimmer, this is just so good as well. Just make sure everything is firing. I need to clean this floor. I don't know what is on this floor. We are continuing to get strong and long. I always like this, like band sort of resisted presses, but it's just getting you to engage that scapula as well, like pulling back in there is the theory. Because like I said, after my shoulder surgery and stem cells, I've just been on a mission to build bulletproof shoulders. Again, the proof will be in the pudding. If we talk in a year's time and we have swum miles and miles and miles, this is work. If it hasn't, don't listen to a word I'm saying. So now we are going to finish up with the swim erg. This is going to be really good actually. So I've done a 15k swim, slow aerobic. A lot of that was fasted as well, looking at for adaptation. Now I've done my strength workout, body's ability to generate force and postural movement. We're going to finish up now on some techers, ripping into this 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And then we're back in the lake for a third session where we are doing kind of like trialing out the wetsuit, a little bit of sprint work. So this is almost like that neural priming, make sure that the technique is perfect, high elbow, ready for the lake swim, is the theory anyway. So this isn't going to be a big session, but I always like at the end of every strength session just to rip into the swim erg, just to drill good motor patterns. Not really a dignified way to get on this. Oh, what I need as well, I need a TV here, I think. or a chessboard.
Yeah.
You know? Monopoly. Something to do. There's just not a lot for me to do when I'm like... Okay, we are gonna warm up and then 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Kinda like playing around, lactic pressure. We are done. I think what was interesting about that, because I am 15 kilometers in already today in the morning swim and then a weight session, even on there, I could tell that just like fatigue was creeping in. Again, it goes back to that idea of adaptation energy, that my body's kind of like, ooh, this volume right now, because we're stepping it up. I'm not sure my body is able to tolerate it as well as when I was kind of peaking for Loch Ness and Tresemino. So that's definitely something, work capacity, body's ability to perform, positively tolerate training of given intensity or duration. I can just feel things breaking down a little bit. So that's really good to know. Also as well, don't worry, I'm gonna do a full swim erg workout as well. That was just kind of just at the end, just to finish up. Also as well, this is gonna sound weird. I think, there needs to be like a hole for your genitals. Do you know what I mean? Like if anyone works for a swimmer, just there, like it's just very aggressive on the gentleman parts. So I just like that is just a thought to finish on. Just not like just a groove. Do you know what I mean? Why is it so hard? I don't know. Okay, well that's a weird way to end. But that is what's on the swim series. Chest kind of full body workout. I hope you enjoyed it. Loads more to come. Cheers guys.